Show me the thing! Welcome back to Featured Fan Builds. Let's take a look at some of the amazing stuff that you guys have sent me. We'll start with the disclaimer that if you're going to paint your blaster to look extremely realistic, please be using it somewhere safe. Case in point, this first one by Ilder G from Argentina. This is an absolutely beautiful build that was intended for post-apocalyptic LARPs, so it's used in a safe environment, so also in a completely different country. As you can see, it's a Raven with a long strike barrel on it, and then looks like a modulus foregrip. The scope has been completely custom built from bits of wood, PVC pipe, some craft foam, and it came out looking beautiful. I had no idea that it was custom made until I was reading the description and then took a good look at it. But it looks absolutely fantastic. He has done a little bit of upgrades. The internals are pretty much entirely stock, but he has added an external additional battery housing in the form of a faux laser guide or targeting system that he has another two AA's in. So he's increased the voltage by 50%. Not enough to, risk burning out the motors or the switches or the wiring, but enough to give it a noticeable boost, especially if you're overcoming that ridiculously long barrel that this would have, with the whole Raven barrel and then that long strike barrel. So having that extra oomph probably really does make a difference. And then the paint job is absolutely gorgeous. The black and the browns to give it kind of a realistic but decidedly post-apocalyptic feel, I think. And then finally, we've got a pair of Persuaders that he's modded up as his sidearms. And same paint scheme, also no internal modifications that I know of, but they match beautifully, and it would be great for a post-apocalyptic kind of role-playing game. So I think these came out fantastic. Well done, Ildur. Next, we have some paint jobs by Daniel. That a couple of the builds were actually inspired by some of my builds. First, we have his Kronos here with the blue and white stripes, and I really like that shade of blue. That I think that's a really good blue. And he has also put LEDs on the inside that he's drilled holes and then fitted them in so that the internals still work just fine, and I really like how that lights up. Then he has a Firefly Drain Blaster built off of mine, but again using blue. So he used the blue Drain Blaster, and so it matches kind of his other blue and white and black scheme, and I really like how that one came together. He's, of course, got a number of different attachments that he can put on it. Looks like that one's a Maverick barrel, so that's pretty cool. And then he's got a sight of some sort on the top, and I really like how that one came together, too. And then finally, he's done his own take on my Drain Blaster Bazooka. Made a much simpler version. He doesn't have the top rail or the shoulder mount, but a very simple bazooka doesn't. But this one also has LEDs built in the back that really give it a really neat green and feel, as well as the whole thing being green, and I really like it. I don't know if he has different absolvers for this one or if it only fires Demolisher rockets or what it's designed to fire, but I really like how all of those came together. So well done, Daniel. Next, we have one by Brian. This is inspired both by Cable's gun from Deadpool 2, and then the paint job is inspired by Aku from Samurai Jack. Internally, it's a 2S build using Michelle 2s, so it's a perfectly serviceable strife for just about any application. He then has two different barrels. He's got the barrel that came with the vector kit that he can put on there, or he can put on this recon barrel with an underslung Baron that he then has a number of attachments for. So a lot of versatility there. He then has a blowgun mounted on the top, kind of to simulate the sniper portion of Cable's gun, because blowguns can have a ridiculous range and accuracy. They just have a very low rate of fire. So I think this one came together pretty cool. Well done, Brian. All right, this next one is being added under the category of I have got to make myself one of these. This was built by Wheelman714, and it is a X-Shot Eliminator rebarreled for Mega, and I cannot believe it never occurred to me to do this. This is why I love getting these things from you guys, because of ideas like this, where you just look at it and go, that's brilliant. You'd have a double-barreled, two-shot Mega shotgun. that would be easy to reload, easy to prime, easy to holster. It would be fantastic. I must have one. So I'm definitely going to be building one of these, and when I do, I will be giving Wheelman full credit. It's simple because I have the pipe that you can use to rebarrel it. It just never occurred to me. And then he sent this, and it's brilliant, and I will have one. Well done, Wheelman714. Up next, we have a silly one, and I absolutely love it. It is the ultimate minimized blaster. It is a flywheel cage, a battery housing, and a magazine clip. The whole assembly clips to a magazine and gives you a flywheel blaster. Your finger is the pusher, so you just push the darts right into the flywheel from the magazine well.
Smallest strife I can ever possibly think of. I challenge thee to make a one smaller.
But I really can't imagine a smaller system. Maybe a smaller battery. Maybe it looks like he's using Flywheels of the World cages even. So it's tiny and it's silly and I love it. It's fantastic. It would be a great thing to just, if you were doing a game where stealth or being concealed is a good idea, because you could stick that in a coat pocket and have, a magazine in another coat pocket and quickly slap them together and have a functional semi-automatic flywheel blaster. It's fabulous and silly, and I love it. So well done, Evan. That is magnificent. And finally, we have my favorite one from this lineup, just because it is so well done, and because of so many of the extras that he included. This was built by Gary Siddall. It is an Armat Battlefield Systems M41B pulse rifle. Now, the pulse rifle that you see in the Aliens movies are M41 pulse rifles. So this is meant to be a variant of that, and looks kind of like a carbine or lighter variant. He made it using a rapid strike, did a whole bunch of body work, a lot of adding of plates in order to take away the roundness of the rapid strike. The rapid strike has more curves than you see in a lot of the N-Strike Elite line, and he wanted to get that more angular look, and so he did his own integrations. He also underslung an ion fire to get the grenade launcher look, and I really, really like how that came out, and I like that it actually loads like an underslung grenade launcher often does, like the way you would see a Magnus, load when you prime it and you then load it. It only fires elites as opposed to firing something, larger, but getting anything larger under there would have definitely detracted from the cosmetic looks. And this was done as a cosplay build, thus the, extreme realism of it. He does have an orange barrel that he can add. Where he lives, that's less of a problem. He's in England, but it's still, something that we like to keep in mind. But absolutely gorgeous work. The paint job, the cosmetics. He sanded down all of his integration marks. You can't even see them. And the lines, yeah, sure enough, the lines that he added, I love the way he did it. The grip for where the front trigger is, I love the way he did that. The stock is still extendable, but is still very much minimized. Just an absolutely all-around beautiful build. Love what you did there. I am, in fact, wearing the Armat Battlefield Systems shirt that I was sent by a fan as I do this review, and I think it is wonderfully fitting. When I talked about extras, he, in fact, made both the diagram, the blueprint, based on what he did, and he also did a news announcement, or, a fluff piece that you might see in a magazine that the company would be advertising for this, and both of those are just really cool little things to add, to take the time to do. Internally, it's running on Rhinos. It's all internally, it runs on Rhinos, and then he's completely obviously gotten rid of the front battery housing and instead done a custom battery housing on the side that takes three 18650 batteries, which are a form of lithium ion. They're ICRs, but because they're much larger, they have a higher capacity and therefore are in fact able to put out a lot more current, and therefore they're not nearly as dangerous as using the 14500s, which are much smaller and don't have the capacity in the current. The 18650s do have a much higher current output. And since Gary is an enthusiast in vaping, he had the batteries, knew how to properly care for them, knew how to charge them, knew where he could get them, and so it made a lot more sense for him to use those than to switch to a whole other battery system that doesn't cross over into his other areas. So I think that is an excellent way to power something like this. It does have a voltmeter on the back, which is absolutely gorgeous, and just everything about this. This is just an absolutely beautiful build. I've been wanting to do a Stampede pulse rifle since I saw one long ago, and I just have never gotten around to it. And this might be the encouragement I need to take another look at that particular concept. So absolutely beautiful work, Gary. All right, on to the slideshow.
Shut up and sit down. Shut up and sit down.
So if you would like to have your blaster featured, the email address to send it to is captain.xavier.fanbuilds@gmail.com. I've still got a backlog, though I'm getting caught up since I'm getting through a lot more blasters now than I was previously. I think I've got a backlog of about 50 now, so might be able to get that into the next episode. May only do half of them. We will see. So go ahead and submit your stuff. If you submitted stuff previously and it hasn't ever shown up, it either means I haven't gotten to it, or there was some reason, or it didn't get to me, or there was some reason like the pictures were completely blurry, and I usually tried to respond and go, can I get non-blurry pictures? So feel free to submit again. If you've got better pictures, or if you've done upgrades to your blasters or additions, worked on the paint job a little bit more, whatever, go ahead and just resubmit them, and I'll take another look at them. So there you have it. I enjoyed this. Gorgeous stuff as always. And thank you guys for watching.